host Himakshi Bahuguna.
And I am Mahima Vachrajani, and for the next 1 hour, we're going to take all of your stock-related queries, whether they're fundamental or technical. Whatever queries you have, you can either WhatsApp us on the number that is flashing on your screen, or you can call us on the number that is flashing on your screen. Moving on to the guest of the day, we are joined by Mr. Girish Sodani, who is the co-founder of Ensure Capital on the fundamentals, and Rajesh Bhosle, who is the equity technical and derivative analyst from Angel One on the technicals, who joins us now. Welcome to both of you, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Before I move on to the queries of the day, first of all, Rajesh, I'll come to you as to, what has happened. It's been a topsy-turvy day for the markets. The Sensex was down over 1,000 points. What do you reckon of this fall in terms of markets? What do you think the charts look like going forward?
Good evening. So last week we were seeing some bounce back move in the market, but today the overall trend has again resumed on the downside. On the chart structure, today we are seeing fresh breakdown both on the Nifty and Bank Nifty. So we are expecting that in the coming days, prices are likely to see further downside. Possibly Nifty can retest its November swing low somewhere around 23,200. Similarly, for the Bank Nifty, we are expecting Bank Nifty to slip back towards the levels of 49,300 to 49,200. So yes, next few sessions are likely to be very tricky, and we would suggest traders to be on a lighter note because the volatility is likely to be on the higher side.
Right. Girish, your view as to, why the sharp downtick in the markets today, do you think that this is because of the new virus that is detected, or do you think that this is just because, the earnings season is picking up and maybe that is kind of factored in?
So there's a mixed match of all the reasons we are talking about. With the new virus, there's a rumor of related to the new virus itself. Apart from that, the other countries are going to be just put it down for the interest rate hikes, as well as we're talking about the PSUs their quarter numbers are not as per their own mark. So there's a many rumors that just push the Nifty into the lower levels itself. But in the fundamental perspectives, the key point is again 23,200 would be the very important zones in the fundamental terms. What is a little bit lower for the November zone? And just looking out for the next few days, that there's a many PSU, many big blue chips companies are going to be present their quarter numbers. So let's check whether the things are going to be in a favor note or not.
All right. Now, viewers have started sending us their queries. First up, we have one WhatsApp query from Visakhapatnam. Kumar is writing to us saying that he's holding 12.5 lakhs of different segment stock with profit of 75,000. Please advise, shall I hold or sell because of HMPV virus, which has affected stock markets badly? So, gentlemen, he's invested 12.5 lakh in different sectors of the stock market, and the Nifty has ended around 23,600. Sensex also closed over 1,200 points lower. And investors have also lost 12 lakh crore amid this HMPV tension. So what would you advise to all our worried investors? First up, I'd come to Rajesh on the technicals, if you could take that.
Yeah, so in the near term, if you see, the short-term pain is likely to continue for the next few days, but the viewer is a long-term trader, and if you see the long-short ratio for the markets, it's in a bit oversold. So further going further ahead, any dip towards 23,200 or 23,000 is actually a buying opportunity. So nothing to worry about. Further dip is a buying opportunity, and then from there we can expect the uptrend to resume. So he can continue to hold on to its position. Now it depends which of the sector he is holding on to it. That will depend his portfolio performance.
Right, and Girish, what do you have to say on this?
I'm completely agree with the Rajesh because here we have to check it out what the sectors we are focusing out. So if he says that the PSU banks, then I'm like more worried about it because the last quarters as well as this quarter performance are a little bit lower. And if he goes with the pharma as well as the reality, then I'm little bit bullish about these both sectors. So just more focus on just hold their positions as of now. And I don't think so. This is a very panic situation that just they have to evaluate and just liquidate all their positions, just hold their positions as of now.
All right, so hold the position in the pharma and hospital stocks is the view coming in from Girish. Moving on to the next query, Zamir from Chennai is holding 5,000 RVNL shares at an average price of 77, and he's saying that there's a huge order book, and in the last one also they have received more than 4 orders. But I'm not seeing any upward movement in the stock. I'm holding it for a long-term perspective. Should I exit and invest in other funds or keep holding it? Girish, I'll come to you on this one. A couple of deals signed by RVNL in the past quarter. There was a recent 300 crore deal in Visakhapatnam Port Authority. The stock has seen correction in H2, and this is not just RVNL. It's been the case with all of those railway stocks, which it's seen a significant up move in 2023. And they're trying to correct to their kind of valuations, right? So I want to understand as to what is the outlook for RVNL? A strong order book, yes, true, but does the valuations correct? Paint a correct picture?
So, if we're talking about the RVNL, not itself the RVNL, we are talking about the whole railway stocks. So, they are giving a very excellent returns in last 1.5 year itself time frame. So, every single quarter has to be just settled down. So, this is a very good time that the investor and his portfolios is just little bit settled down in the railway stock itself. So, my suggestion is to just hold your position as of now. My view is that if you get a chance to get the price of around 370 or 380 or 350 rupees also, just do an average from here itself, because if we talk about for the next 2.5 years or 3 years, the railway stocks will be going to be boom in the very good upsides in the term in the order book, as well as how the road networks, how the railway networks is going to be expanded in India. So just wait and watch and hold your positions.
All right, and Rajesh, your view as to how does RVNL fare on charts? Because today it was down 5%, 6 months it's down around 27%, and YTD it's been down around 4%. So this year it's not done much, but last year it was surely a multi-bagger. But what do the charts suggest going forward?
Yes, so I definitely agree there is some support around 380 to 370 levels. In fact, if you see in the June month, the stock had rallied from the levels of 370, 380 towards levels of 650 to 660. So any dip towards 370, 380, in fact, would be a buying opportunity as we move towards the budget month. So possibly, yes, some pain in the near term, but overall a good counter to add on dips.
Right. Now, it's a quick reminder for our viewers. Viewers, please don't forget to call us. You can reach out to us on WhatsApp as well. Both the numbers are flashing on your screens right now. And we have one query from Sanjay. He's written to us that, is it the right time to buy Adani Wilmar with a 2 to 3 years horizon? Now, if we talk about Adani Wilmar, so it has achieved a healthy volume growth of 6% year on year. And the revenue also has grown by 33% year on year. So Girish, what's your outlook on Adani Wilmar?
So, if we talk about the fundamental terms, obviously the company restructuring their results. If we say is that the company performance are a little bit improved in last 1.5 year itself. But if the horizon was obviously for the 2.5 year, 3 years time frame, then definitely he can buy the range of 290 to 300 levels. So there will be a good upsides. But obviously my strong fundamental support line would be 225 to 250 rupees range. So if it goes down below that, I don't advise to buy this particular stock.
Right. And Rajesh, what's your technical view on Adani Wilmar?
So overall, technically, if you see on the daily chart, the stock is forming a W pattern. And at current levels, it's in a no trading zone. So for now, if he gets any dip in the near term towards 270, 280, that's the base of the W pattern. So there he can add. Or else on the higher side, if the stock breaks about 340, 345, which is its 200 DMA. So on a breakout, he can buy, or on the support, he can buy. But at current level, it's a no trading zone.
All right, just a standard disclaimer, NDTV is a subsidiary of AMG Media Networks and Adani Group of Company, and Adani Wilmar also owns stake in Adani Wilmar. The Adani Group of Companies also holds stake in Adani Wilmar. Moving on to the next query. Radha has a query on ITI. She's got around 500 shares bought at 380 levels. This one particular stock was in focus today on the back of volumes. It did see a lot of traction in terms of volumes, in terms of the recent development with respect to the stock, it emerged as an L1 bidder for 3,022 crore from BharatNet Pet project, and this was from Middle Mile Network. Recently, it also bagged order worth rupees 300 crores for solar street lighting system in Bihar as well, and climbed almost 20% in trade today. And Radha is also sitting on a handsome profit of 82,000 odd rupees. Girish, your view as to she should keep holding ITI at present, because it's in a very interesting space to watch out for, or she should sell considering the profit she's sitting on?
So IDI already, we have already saw that in last 15-20 days, the IDI is giving a very excellent jump in the margins as well as the rate proposition itself. So my suggestion is to just book your partial profit from here, because as we already saw that the company's growth and the company's forecast is like a huge, but anyways the company working capital are reducing. So my suggestion is to just book your partial profit from here and just put your stop loss with the level of 475 rupees. And just hold your positions.
All right. Now we are getting a caller from Pune. Hi, Bhupendra. Bhupendra? Okay, I think we've lost him, but we have his query. He has 150 shares of NTPC Green. He's bought at 135 rupees. He's looking for a long-term view on it. So I'll directly come to you, Girish, on the fundamentals. How are the fundamentals of NTPC Green looking like?
So if we talk about for the longer time frames, the fundamentals was looking good. How the companies are just working on their quarter numbers as well as the margin propositions. So for the longer terms, obviously I am little bullish on the energy segments itself, to the green energy as well as the renewable too. So NTPC Green is a very good candidate into it. And apart from that, just go with the divisions of an NTPC group. So they are just going to be perform better in the next 1.5 quarter or 2 quarters max. So my suggestion is to just buy or hold your position from here itself, and just wait for the 1.5 year time frame.
Right, wait for 1.5 year time frame for NTPC Green is the view coming in from Girish. Moving on to the next caller, Kunal from Chennai is calling in. Kunal, good evening. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hey, good evening. So I have a share called Galaxy Surfactants in my portfolio.
Okay.
I'm actually making a bit of a loss on it, but I don't mind holding on to it for a medium to a long term, look in the fund. I got a call a few months back, and it sounded well, so I made a purchase on the fundamentals there. Mm-hmm. But since the stock hasn't been performing that well, I'd like a view on it. Thank you.
All right. Kunal, do you intend to keep holding this for the next 1 year or thereabouts? What's the kind of time horizon that you can keep holding it?
1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years. So you want a fundamental view on this?
Sure.
Sure. Girish, I'll come to you on this one. Galaxy Surfactants, it's in the consumption space. We've seen that Q3 has not panned out very well for consumption staples, at least, considering Dabur and Marico. What do you think should he do with Galaxy Surfactants?
So if we're talking about the MNCs, if we're talking about the skin cares as well as the hair cares, these type of personal product lines, obviously the companies are now expanding to the tier 3 and the tier 4 cities, so just increasing their margin proposition. So for the right perspective, they just if their horizon is like a more than a 2.5 years or 3 years, then it's good little bit of very good stocks. But they need to just add on more in the lower level itself. If we got a chance for the around 2100 to 2150, then there will be a very good levels to add on. As we are talking about the company fundamentals, the companies are reducing a debt very, very speedily and just maintaining the healthy dividend payout also in that around 23 to 24% like. So just more focus on that particular fundamental terms. Just hold your positions for the longer term of 2 to 3 years.
All right. Now we're getting a caller from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Ram Reddy.
Hi, madam.
Hello, good evening. How can we help you?
मैम मैं रेलटेल को होल्ड कर रखा हूँ 10,000 फेस एट द रेट ऑफ 122
जी, तो आपको इसमें लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव आपको इसका जानना है या शॉर्ट टर्म?
Long term, madam.
Long term. Okay. So for this, I'd like to come to you, Girish. How are the fundamentals of RailTel Corporation looking like?
So again, we are talking about the railway industry itself. As we're talking about the company fundamentals now, the almost a debt-free company. Just companies are more focused on the quarter results, and we are just more expecting very good quarter numbers as the order books was more and more increasing and just expanding into the multiple variants too. So just hold your position as of now. My more focus on is to like we have into the budget season itself. And railway obviously it's a very focused sector. So just hold the position for at least 1.5 year time frame. Just getting a better performance.
Right. Rajesh, I'd like to know your view as well on this, as I can see that the stock was down 6.22%. So what's the short-term outlook on RailTel Corporation according to you?
The near term, we may see a weakness due to broader market weakness, but somewhere around 375 to 360, we saw from there in the November month, there was a strong swing. Also, there is a bullish gap and strong averages. So in the near term, definitely some weakness, but from a broader term perspective, 365 to 370 is a very strong buying zone.
All right, moving on to the next query. I believe Rajesh is writing in this query from Bengaluru. He has this query on Mazagon Dock shipyards. He's got 54 shares bought at 2390 a piece, and he wants to know whether it's a good time to keep holding them or sell them. I mean, defense, PSU, the push has been, significant over the past few years, and we are also expecting the budgets to do the same going forward as well. But the defense pack, just like railways, is also corrected quite a bit. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. The stock was up 92% in the last 1 year, despite the kind of correction that we've seen. What do you think? What is the kind of outlook on Mazagon Dock shipyards when charts are concerned?
Yeah, so the next few weeks would be crucial for counters like railways, shipping, defensive, or PSU. In the near term, in the short term, yes, definitely it's looking weak, but somewhere around 1950 to 2000 levels, we see strong support for Mazagon Dock, where we saw some base formation last month. Also 200 DMA is placed around those levels. So I would suggest if the stock dips further towards 950 to 2000 levels, he can average it down there. And on the high side, immediate target that he can expect would be 2650 and then towards 3000 level. So definitely high time frame is positive and it would be a buying opportunity.
All right, we are getting a caller from Mumbai now. Hi, Ajit.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your query.
I am a fresher in this market, and unfortunately, I have invested in Waaree at the rate of 3,450, and I hold 150 shares.
Okay.
So I want to know whether I should hold it or take the loss and come out of it.
So you've recently bought it?
Yeah, I recently bought it.
Okay.
Just after the IPO, when the peak of 3450.
Yeah, and why Waaree, if I would like to ask?
Well, I was thinking about solar energy as a better sector.
Okay. So, yes, 2 years outlook on Waaree. Girish, how are the fundamentals of Waaree looking like?
So, if we talk about the solar industry, obviously the industry is going to be next highlighter for the time frame of 2.5 years, as the government already focus on the particularly residential as well as the commercial solar system. So let's talk on the Waaree. So earning was very okay. The companies are working on their margin fronts. So currently, if we talk about the short-term proposition, obviously we are avoiding it. But for the long-term horizons, yes, we are suggesting for investing in that particular stock itself. But my suggestion is to just go and average with the level of 2400 to 2500 levels also. If we saw in that particular in the time frame of 1.5 to 3 months itself. And the same into the budget propositions, we are more focused on the solar as well as the renewable sector. So my suggestion is to hold this stock.
All right, hold for Waaree Energies is the view coming in from Girish. We have our next caller. Amol from Noida is calling in. Amol, a very good evening to you. How can we help you? Hi Amol, I can hear you. Okay, I think we've lost his line. But I believe his query is on Mphasis, and he has 30 shares bought at 2820 a piece. And this is a short-term query. So he wants to know what could be the next target for Mphasis and the stop loss. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. Jeffries today had an initiation on this counter with a target price of 2460. And this is an upside of 20% from its yesterday's closing. Do you also, believe that these targets can be achieved by Mphasis, especially just before the IT results kicking in?
So if we see chart of Mphasis, so last couple of months from August, we can see the stock trading in a range of 3200 on the upside, and on the lower side, somewhere around 2800 is the support. And today we have seen from there, the stock is trying to bounce back. Also, on the back of positive news, we are seeing positive volumes and reversal in some key indicators. So yes, from here onwards, the stock may bounce back towards 3150 to 3200. So the major trend will resume positive once the stock closes about 3200. But for an immediate target, 32 can be expected with a stop loss somewhere around 2740.
Right, we are getting a caller from Karnataka now. Hi, Shankar.
Hi ma'am, good evening ma'am.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your query.
Ma'am, KPIT Technology 200 stock, average price 370. Hold or sell ma'am, January 29 KPIT Technology result Q3, hold or sell ma'am.
All right, so are you looking for a short-term view on it or a long-term view?
Ma'am, short term, 6 months ma'am.
6 months view on KPIT. So for this, I directly come to you, Rajesh. So how is KPIT looking on the charts? Because if I can see the 6 months picture, it has been down over 14%. So what's your take on it?
So overall, the chart structure is positive. Only in the October month, there were a couple of sessions where prices sharply fell from the levels of 1800 to 1400. But if we come back towards back to the weekly charts, the stock is trading in a range where somewhere around 1300 is a strong support, and on the high side 1950 2000 is a resistance. As of now, the stock is on the support. Hold on to it. Possibly the stock can bounce back towards 1650 to 1680. As of now, 1310 1300 is a strong support. So hold on to it.
All right, so it's a hold for KPIT Tech from Rajesh. Moving on to the next caller, Sandeep from Kolkata is calling in. Sandeep, a very good evening to you and thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Good evening, ma'am. I bought almost like 15,000 NMDC Steel shares.
Okay.
It was like 1 year back. And I just want to know the outlook. My vision is long term, at least for 5 years.
I want to understand 15,000 is, quite a large quantity. Does this mean that this is a part of your portfolio, or, how much of your portfolio is concentrated just on NMDC?
It is a part of my portfolio, ma'am.
It's a part of your portfolio. And you're sitting on a loss of 88,000 right now, but you don't mind holding it from a longer term perspective.
Yes, my vision is like maybe 5 years.
Okay, and what was the idea behind buying NMDC Steel specifically from the entire metal space?
Well, it's one of the best companies with a very, I think, nice. They have that metal they are making.
Okay.
I don't know, sir. They are making something in specialized metal they are doing.
All right. All right. Girish, I'll come to you on this one. He intends to hold the counter for a longer term perspective of at least 5 years. Do you suggest it's a good stock to have in your portfolio?
Yes, because as we saw that the metal industry and metal sector is like a little bit struggle in last three and 4 months itself. So if we're talking about the quarter numbers itself, we are just more focused on the next 2 quarters. They are just working on their margin, as well as the mining sector and the metal sectors are little bit performing. But if it horizon of around 5.5 years itself, we are just more bullish on that particular metal sector itself, because this sector is not performing in the 1.5 year time frame. Because of the iron ore production sizes as well as the price sizes are there. So just wait and watch. Obviously, my bet is to just hold your positions as of now.
That's a hold on NMDC Steel. Now, viewers, don't miss your chance to get your stock-related queries solved by our experts. So please pick up your phone and call us right away. The numbers are flashing on your screens right now. Now, we are getting a WhatsApp query So Sudesh has written to us that he's bought 1,300 shares of NHPC again at 99 apiece, and his goal is long term. So he's asking whether he could hold or sell or average more quantity. So NHPC has gained 12% in the last 1 year is what I can see. But if you talk about today, the stock was down almost 5%. Girish, how are the fundamentals of NHPC looking to you?
So in the company fundamentals, I'm little bit work on their debtors as well as the promoter holdings are decreasing. So this is also kind of they were just putting down to the red mark into it, as well as the poor sales growth in the last 5 years is also give me a red point in NHPC. So my suggestion is to just avoid this particular stock as of now for the 1.5 years. And if we talk about for the next 3 or 5 years time frame, then definitely they can just add on with the range of around 60 or 55 rupees. Then it will be give a good upsides in the time frame of 3.5 years.
All right, so that's the view coming in on NHPC. We have our next caller, Damodar, is calling in. Damodar, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, I hold Dish TV stock around 14,500.
Okay.
And the average price is around 19.41 rupees.
Okay.
So I wanted to check whether to hold or how I can average it at what level.
Okay, so I believe that you looked at the charts and bought these shares?
Yes.
And you're looking for a technical view as well. And how long do you intend to hold these shares?
It's on a long term, 3 to 5 years.
It's for a long term, so you want a fundamental view on Dish TV?
Yes, yes.
All right. So, Damodar, it's comparatively a very small company. Why Dish TV in the entire media space? Any particular reason?
No, it was on a long-term perspective. I just bought it, but no other fundamentals. I have checked it on the stock.
Okay. Girish, I'll come to you on this one. Damodar is sitting on a loss of almost 1.4 lakh rupees on a counter like Dish TV, which is, a market cap of around 1,800 odd crore rupees. And, it's priced at around, let's pull up the chart and see where it's priced at. And he bought it at 19.41 levels. I believe it's gone down significantly from there. There you go. It's currently trading at around 9.95 rupees. Do you think he should still continue to hold it from a longer term perspective?
No, my suggestion is to just sell the positions as of now, just give us some high range, because the promoter holdings, we're talking about the liability perspectives, the customer borrowings, the quarter numbers, obviously these all are negative in the company front ends, as well as we are not more focused on the just improvising in the next 3 or 4 quarters itself. So my suggestion is to sell these positions as of now.
Okay, so that's a sell on Dish TV. Now viewers will have to slip into a short break. Keep sending in your queries on WhatsApp and call in. We'll be right back for Ask Profit. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
On my face. How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
What's the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Think you know what success looks like? Think again. Meet the disruptors. Those who dare.
watching Ask Profit, a show where we get all your stock related queries answered, whether they're fundamental and technical. And to help you with the queries, we're joined by Girish Sodani and also Rajesh Bhosle. Both of them will be answering your fundamental and technical queries. Srinath from Hyderabad is calling in. Srinath, very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Actually, I have 400 quantity of Asian paints.
Okay.
Average price of 2,300.
Okay.
So I felt like the price, stock price is at discount as it has fallen from 3,600.
Right.
So in terms of technical, whether did I buy the fair price or there's a more fall downside from now?
Sorry, what is the quantity of Asian paints that you've bought?
400.
400. And when did you buy this exactly?
A couple of days back, averaging at 2,300.
2,300 is the averaging, but what was your original buying price?
It was 2280 something.
All right, and so you looked at the charts and you bought this particular stock?
Yes.
Okay, so you want a technical view on this?
Yes.
All right. Rajesh, fundamentally the stock has not done very well in the first half of FY25, but technically, how does Asian Paints look on charts?
Okay, so since Mr. Srinath has seen charts, I would like to explain him. So the overall chart structure is weak, where we are seeing that any minor bounce is getting sold into. Last week bounce is also getting sold into. But if we see indicators, the indicators are a bit oversold and we are seeing some positive divergence. So yes, as of now, the short-term trend is negative, but somewhere around 2150 to 2200. This is the 2020 year lows from where the stock had started rallying. So as of now, the short-term trend is negative, but somewhere around 2150 is a strong buying zone. So he can hold on to it. On the high side, if we see immediate resistance is at 2350. Once that is crossed, then the bullish momentum will kick in, where the possibly the stock can head towards 2500 levels. So yes, on support can hold on to it.
All right, hold on to Asian Paints is the view coming in from Rajesh. We have our next caller, N. Das Gupta from New Delhi is calling in. Mr. Gupta, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Yeah, thank you. Today was a complete mayhem in the market. With that note, I just want to tell that I am holding 242 shares of ITC.
Okay.
At an average price of 299 or 300, 299.
Okay.
So now with the demerger of the ITC hotels into 1:10 ratio of ITC hotels,
right.
What is the prospect for ITC hotels? And I am looking for long term, 2 years plus. So, and prospect for ITC in the near future. And when can I re-enter ITC hotels again?
Okay, I think Mr. Gupta, you've bought ITC at a very attractive price and you're sitting on handsome profits. Girish, I'll come to you on this one. The price discovery of ITC hotels came out to be at around 26. And I think the street was expecting more than that. But the outlook overall that the management has said, they plan to have 186 hotels by FY30 and over 70,000 keys to be added. The outlook looks very positive, and now that hotels will be demerged, ITC will now become an FMCG major. So something that will be to that will be to watch out for is how the FMCG performs for ITC, and compared to the other FMCG majors, ITC right now is sitting at a good valuation as compared to their peers. So what is your outlook on both ITC as well as once ITC hotels gets demerged?
So let's start with the first ITC one. If we're talking about the FMCG industry and FMCG sector, obviously they are little bit cash conscious as well as the margin conscious in last 3 quarters itself. But now as we saw that the margins are just more improvising, they are just increasing their rates, cost, as well as the increasing their exposures in the different verticals, including the tier 3 and tier 4 cities. So if we're talking about the FMCG, we are little bit bullish for the next 3 or 4 quarter itself, because they are just performing better and we will getting this particular reflections in their quarter number itself. So we are more bullish on the FMCG as well as the ITC was a very strong candidate. We're talking about the fundamental terms. Obviously, it's a 100% debt-free company. So these are very strong points we are talking about for the fundamental terms. The company has doing a very good dividend payout also in the for the client investor base, as well as the return on equity was an excellent one. So ITC is a very strong candidate. If we're talking about the how they are getting in the lower levels, so if they are getting a lower levels in the near time future, then definitely they has to be at for the time frame of 2.5 years. So now talk about the ITC hotel ones. So the hotel industry is performing very excellent in the next 2.5 years or 3 years time frames. They are just expanding in the national as well as the international globally, and they are focusing on the 33 plus more properties in the international markets too. So we are more focused on the ITC hotel also.
Right. So are you suggesting a hold on it?
Yes, definitely. Hold on it.
All right. Now we're getting a caller from Chennai. Hi, Abhirami. Abhirami, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we've lost Abhirami, but we have his query. So he's holding 15 shares of Hindustan Aeronautics. He's bought at 4,300 a piece, and he's asking whether he should hold or sell. So if we talk about today, the stock was up 2.45%, and if we talk about its 1 month's performance, so it has been down significantly over 10.2%, and currently the investor is incurring a loss of almost 2 lakh. So I would like to take both the technical and the fundamental view on Hindustan Aeronautics. Rajesh, how is the stock looking on the charts?
So in the near term, yes, definitely it's weak, but somewhere around 3850 to 3900, the stock has multiple supports. So I would suggest client that if the stock dips further towards 3850, 3900, that would be an ideal level to average it down. And then on bounce back, if he gets levels of 4400 to 4500, then he can revisit the chart. But as of now, the short-term trend is negative, but 3850 to 3900 would be a buying opportunity.
That's the view coming in on HAL. Moving on to our next query. Sanjay is calling in. Sanjay, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, Varun Beverages 175 stock, average of 565.
Okay.
Short term, ma'am, 6 months, ma'am. What does that, ma'am?
Okay, short term, so you want a technical view on this one. When did you buy Varun Beverages?
Madam, 6 months, our 6 months period, ma'am.
Okay, so 6 months is the time horizon that you're looking for to keep holding these shares, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Rajesh, he's sitting on a handsome profit of around 11,000 odd rupees. Do you think he should continue to hold it for the next 6 months, considering the charts? Because fundamentally the stock looks strong.
Yeah, so one of the outperformers, and if we see last 2 to 3 days, it has corrected, but it has corrected with the broader market. The overall trend remains positive. Now 650 to 660 is the key resistance, and once that crosses, he can expect some strong momentum towards 720 to 750. So as of now, hold, and once it breaks 650, he can expect strong move. As of now, 600 to 590 is a very strong support, which we expect to hold on any dip.
All right, we're getting a caller from Delhi. Hi, CP Malhotra.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for speaking
Hello.
to NDTV Profit. How can we help you?
I have purchased Piramal Pharma
All right.
at the rate of 250
Right.
for 1 year long.
Okay.
1 year.
So you're asking for a 1 year view on Piramal Pharma?
Yes.
Okay. So on this, I'd like to come to you, Girish. How is Piramal Pharma looking to you? What's your outlook on it?
So as we discussed that the pharma space is more focused for the 1.5 year time frame, because how they are just expanding, as well as the dependencies on the US as well as the UK governments. So there are more positive numbers in the pharma industry itself. So let's talk about the Piramal Pharma now. So very strong fundamental company, just more focused on the complex generic medicals devices, as well as the complex healthcare nutritions, as well as the mixture of their medical devices. So these are very strong candidates for the pharma companies as well as the raw material for the pharma companies. So they are working on the very strategic divisions of religious laboratories. So this is a better way that how the things are going to be rooted in the next 2 and 3 quarter itself, and they are working on their margin front also. And the US order books are also just improvised in the last 2 quarters itself. So my suggestion is to just hold our positions, as we have already saw that the your view is approximately 2 and 2.5 years. So like my suggestion is to just hold your positions, and we are getting a chance of nearby around 210 rupees to 215 rupees also. So just average it out and just hold the positions.
Hold is the view coming in on Piramal Pharma. Moving on to the next caller, Praveen from Bangalore is calling in. Praveen, a very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, ma'am. Very good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I have actually Adani Ports. I have around 120 shares at 690 rupees. So I have already made a loss of around 22K. So what is the view? Like, how should I go ahead? Considering 2 years down the line, should I should I expect a profit there, or no? What should I do in this case?
Okay, Praveen, are you holding Adani Ports or Adani Power?
I'm sorry, Adani Power.
Right. Okay. And you're sitting on some loss, and Adani Ports right now, Adani Power, sorry, is trading at around 498 a piece, and you bought it at 690 levels. What was the kind of thinking behind buying Adani Power?
I was expecting the power transmission projects they have, they would expand, and I'll make a good profit. But recent news with Bangladesh and the issues with Adani, it is pulling me down.
Okay, all right. Girish, I'll come to you on this one since it's a long-term view. Your view on Adani Power?
So Adani Power, as basically we all saw that the thermal power productions, and there is a huge opportunity in India for next 2.5 years time frame itself. So government is also focusing on the thermal power propositions, and we talk about the company fundamentals now, just expecting a very strong quarter numbers for next 3.5 quarters itself, and companies are giving a very strong profit growth in the last 5 year time frame with the capacity of around 80 to 90% of the CAGR growth, and as well as they're just more working on their profit margin itself, because they are just improvising the debtor days also. So in the fundamental terms, the companies was strongly working, and they are just reported to the news, which talk about the Bangladesh crisis also. So there's more dent into the this particular sections itself. But if the longer term 2.5 years, 3 years time frame, obviously it's a very strong candidate. My suggestion is, because they are just bought in the very high level, 600, 650 levels plus. So just wait and watch at the level of 400, 440, 435 levels to just average it out and just hold your positions.
All right. Now, just a disclaimer, NDTV is a subsidiary of AMG Media Networks and Adani Group Company. Now, we are getting a call from Vizag. Hi, Nitish.
Hello.
Hi, Nitish. Please go ahead with your query.
I have Punjab National Bank stocks of 104.
Okay.
I bought at 117.
All right.
Should I hold or sell for a longer term view?
And why did you go for Punjab National Bank only?
I have known that it has good market cap for a penny stock, banking sector.
Right. Because I can see that you're incurring a loss of almost 1.5K, that is 1,500. So Girish, Nitish is asking for a long-term view on Punjab National Bank. How are the fundamentals of this bank looking like?
So bank are still working on the quarter numbers itself, because we have already saw this today. Union Bank is just presenting a lower as well as a weak quarter numbers, and we are more worried on that particular note for the PSU banks. But if we talk about for the longer term propositions, obviously we are bullish on that, because they are working as well as they are working in their home loans as well as the other CASA books itself. So just seeing these type of numbers, just focus on that 2.5 year time frame and hold your position as of now. But my stop loss was 88 rupees. That is a very strong stop loss for the longer term frames for the investor bills.
All right, so that's the view coming in on PNB Bank. Moving on, Rajesh from Bangalore is calling in. Rajesh, very good evening to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Rajesh here. I'm having Avalon Technologies shares with 150 quantity.
Okay.
And the share price is 715.
Okay.
I'm looking for longer term perspective. What is the longer term perspective for this share?
Okay. Rajesh, before I asked this query to my guest, was there a view behind buying Avalon Technologies specifically? Did you study the company?
Yeah. I saw some con call of the company. They are saying very good in the future prospectus for the company for the next 3 years.
Okay.
That is the reason for that. Yeah.
Okay. Girish, very interesting space it is in. It's in EMS, and like he said, the con call suggests a very strong guidance given from the management. Do you think that it's a good stock to keep holding?
Yes, it's a good stock because we saw that the order books recently they are getting a very strong order books in the last 1.5 year itself time frame, as well as the 1485 recently order books, as well as the creating a electronic manufacturing services basically into the specialization focused. So my suggestion is to hold your positions as of now and just wait and watch for the next 2 quarter itself. That's the quarter results will be giving a more intentions that the companies are still working on their profit margins or not.
Okay, now we're getting a call from Chennai. Hi, Venkat.
Hello.
Hi, Venkat. Please go ahead with the query.
Yes, I am Venkat Subramaniam from Chennai.
Yes.
I have bought 1,500 shares of IDFC First Bank in 2020 at the rate of 24 rupees.
Right.
But past 1 year, it slowly corrected itself to 30 to 40%. Shall I wait or book profit?
Okay, so for how long are you planning to wait?
Hello?
How long, for how long are you planning to wait?
Still 3 years time I am ready to wait.
Okay, 3 years. So, Girish, I'd like you to take this one, IDFC first. How is the fundamental of this company looking like?
So in last 2 results, if you saw that recently they are just putting their quarter numbers itself also very excellent numbers. They are just putting a very strong growth in the overall business. Total business was approximately 25% year-on-year basis itself, and their CASA books as well as the loan books are just going for the more than a 30%. So if we saw that the last 2 quarter numbers, the bank is little bit performing, because as we saw that previously quarter numbers are little bit lower in the terms of year-on-year basis itself. But let's see, because we are just wait and watch situations right now, so just hold your position as of now. But again, my stop loss is 40 rupees for the holding frame, and you have to hold for the next 2.5 years for just maintaining the good margins of 120 or 125 level.
So that's the view coming in on IDFC First Bank. And moving on from a bank to bank, I believe Rajat from Bikaner is calling in. Rajat, thanks for calling in. I believe your query is on Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. What do you want to know exactly?
Actually, I get the share, 250 shares of Utkarsh Finance at rate 42, and I believe for the long-term investment. So is it good or bad? So that's why I want to, should I hold this for long-term, or should I just take a stop loss?
Okay, you want a fundamental view on this, and I want to understand as to what was the thinking behind buying Utkarsh Small Finance from the entire banking pack?
Actually, in my perspective, I think small finance bank have a growth, so that's why I take the shares.
All right, Girish, I'll come to you quickly on this one. Your view on the counter?
So my suggestion is to just wait and watch, because we are not suggesting for the whole proposition itself. They are just recently they are working for the NPS as well as the loan book restructuring process. They are just more focused on the selling all the loan books of 355 crores. So then after how the banks is going to be perform and how their quarter numbers will be released. So just my suggestion is to just hold your positions as of now, because the bank is still working on their particular restructuring process. But the stop loss should be in the near term of around 25 level itself, because if the things are going to be in a longer way, then we can see a very strong downside from here itself.
Right, so that's a hold on Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. Now, I'm sorry, we're getting a call from Hyderabad. Hi, Satyanarayan.
Madam.
Hello, please go ahead with your query.
Okay, madam.
Satyanarayan, are you...
I think you can ask your query, Satyanarayan. We can hear you.
Madam.
Yeah, sure, we can hear you. Okay, I don't think he can hear us. Oh, yeah, I think he's passionate. Yes, Satyanarayan, go ahead with your query.
4 months ago, from 4 months ago, I have been averaging it.
Okay. We can hear you, Mr. Satyanarayan. You can go ahead with your query.
Okay,
Yes.
madam. I have bought 290 shares. I am having 290 shares of Waaree Renewable Technologies.
Okay.
Average price is 402.
Okay. So you want a long-term perspective on this, I believe.
Whether I have to hold for it, can I hold for it 6 months to get profit?
Okay. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. His query is on Waaree Renewables. How does it look on charts? Should he keep holding it?
So since it's a newly listed stock, I won't be able to comment on it.
Enough information, I believe. Girish, I'll come to you on this one then. Do you think it's a good stock to keep holding on to for the next 6 months?
Yes, can hold because there's a strong order books as well as recently they have just acquired the 1300 levels of crores of the order books for the solar projects. And we are talking about recently that the government are more focused on the residential as well as the commercial solar. So just hold your position as of now.
Okay, now we're getting a call from Hyderabad again. Hi, Dheeraj.
Yeah, hi.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your query.
Yeah, I have recently bought L&T Finance shares of around 143.
Okay.
I bought 2,500 shares for
Right.
143. Can I hold that for some time, or is it feasible now, or should I go for sell option?
So for how long are you planning to hold this?
Actually, I'm not looking for long term. I'm looking for short term only.
Short term, like 6 months, 2 months?
Yeah.
6 months picture on L&T Finance. So, Rajesh, if you could answer that, how is L&T Finance looking on the charts? Because I can see the investor is incurring a loss also.
So as of now, the stock is in a base formation structure. 132 to 130 is a key support zone. So you can hold on to it with the stop loss of 132. And on a bounce back, since he's a short-term player, 155 to 158 would be the resistance, which we expect to act as a stiff hurdle in the near term. So 155, 158 profit booking level and 132 would be the stop loss.
Is the stop loss for L&T Finance. Moving on to the next caller, Pradeep from Hyderabad is calling in. Pradeep, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hey, hi. Good evening to all. So I'm calling from Hyderabad.
Yes.
So a couple of years back, I had bought Suzlon shares at the price of 8 rupees. I have like 3,000 shares now. From the last 6 months, I haven't seen much growth in the share movement. So thought of checking with you guys, like what is the outlook? Shall I hold or do some profit booking and try to reinvest somewhere else?
Right. Pradeep, first of all, congratulations because you've bought it at a very attractive level of 8 rupees. Right now, the stock is trading at 58. So you're sitting on a profit of almost 2 lakh rupees. It's around 1.7 lakh rupees. So first of all, congratulations for spotting the correct levels to enter the stock. I'll take your query with Girish as to what the long-term outlook of the company looks like. Girish, Suzlon, should he keep holding it from a longer-term perspective?
Yes, for the longer term perspectives, obviously he can hold, but as we're talking about, it's standing in a very strong, very good profit. So first of all, congratulations to the investor. So my suggestion is to just book here at least 30 to 35% of your positions as of now, because if we saw that the companies are giving a very excellent growth in last 3 years itself time frame, and if we're talking about the fundamental terms, obviously it's a very neutral one. Because the companies about the promoter holdings. So just more focus on that particular notes. We are just reducing the particular proportions. So my suggestion as of now.
So now we are getting a call from Bengaluru. Hi, Ramchandra.
Hello, madam. Good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your query.
Madam, I hold IRFC 5,500 at the rate of 155.
Right.
6 month view.
Okay, so as we are running short on time, we'll quickly take as queries as possible. First up, I'd like to go to Rajesh on this. What's the short-term outview on RIFC?
Hold on to it, keep a stop loss of 137. We are seeing a base formation, and on the higher side 170 would be the immediate resistance.
Okay, so we are taking one more call off quickly from Thane. Hi Adarsh.
Hello ma'am, good evening.
Good evening, please go ahead with your query.
Madam, I have bought a GMDC 54 numbers.
Right.
Average price of 391.54.
Okay.
Madam, just I want to know whether to hold it or
because I can see you're incurring a loss of almost 4.4 lakh on this. Rajesh, can you please take that one? How is Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation looking on the charts? And I'm sorry, the viewer is incurring a loss of 4.46 thousand.
So as of now, the trend is definitely down. We are seeing fresh breakdown, and in the near term as well, we expect further downside in the counter. Expect 280 levels where he can average it down, as there we can see strong support. So 280 would be the levels where he can average it down.
280 is the level where you can average GMDC shares, but with that we're completely out of time. Before I wrap up the show, I'd really like to thank you both, Rajesh and Girish, for sparing out time and taking us through all of those queries. So thank you so much for that. But with that, we're completely out of time on this edition of Ask Profit. Viewers, stay tuned for more news and updates on NDTV Profit.
From my face. How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
Was the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Think you know what success looks like? Think again. Meet the disruptors, those who dare, dream and defy.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings. Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
On my face. How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
Was the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
Sensex 50 logged sharpest decline since October as news of human metapneumovirus or HMPV spooks the market. Nearly 10 lakh crore rupees of investor wealth wiped out from the exchanges, all sectoral indices end with deep cuts. And the rupee hits record low of 85.82 against the US dollar amid the market sell-off and bearish stance. Third case of human metapneumovirus or HMPV virus registers in Gujarat. A 2-month-old baby is infected in Ahmedabad. This is after ICMR detected 2 cases of HMPV in Karnataka through routine surveillance. Pre-budget exercises in full swing. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman holds meetings with trade unions and energy, infra and urban development sectors. Mumbai Police files 4,590-page charge sheet in a special court in the Baba Siddiqui murder case. The charge sheet filed against 26 arrested accused and 3 wanted persons, including Anmol Bishnoi, the brother of jailed gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. Meta platform moves national company law appellate tribunal, challenging the 213 crore rupees CCI penalty order in the WhatsApp 2021 privacy policy issue. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau likely to resign as the Liberal Party leader this week. This is according to media reports. Pressure for his resignation has been on the rise since his finance minister stepped down last month. Hello and welcome. Good evening. This is Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm your host Malika Mishra. Along the next half an hour of this show, we will bring you the latest on markets as well as national and international news. To begin with, benchmarks end with deep cuts as news of human metapneumovirus or HMPV spooks the market. Nifty and Sensex logged the sharpest decline since October 3rd. Nearly 10 lakh crore rupees of investor wealth wiped out from the exchanges. A sea of red across all sectoral indices. Harsh is here with a market wrap.
Well, you saw pressure on the index today and of course a multitude of factors likely culminating to that. One is the slightly weaker macro that we've seen. We've seen US bond yield spike. The 10-year bond yield went to 4.6% now. That's the highest we've seen it in the last couple of months. The second factor is the fact that there's a new virus in town, HMPV. How that will play out in terms of impact will be the other concern. The third concern is, of course, that capex and government spend may not be as elevated as was budgeted. They'll in fact fall short this year, which will likely impact growth. You also had numbers coming out for banks. You had numbers coming out for FMCG companies, staples, as well as some of the other QSR companies which declared numbers. The QSR companies did well in terms of their numbers, but the staples not as much. Dabur, Marico was slightly on the weaker side. Banks growth was slightly on the muted side. Deposit growth has come back into focus. Loan to deposit ratios have started to get elevated, and that is the other concern which is playing out, along with, of course, asset quality, which we will know later at some point this month. But in terms of where markets were at, the breadth was shallow. It was a tough day of trade. 2,000 declines to just about 180 odd advances, and pretty much through the day we saw the advance decline being extremely skewed to the declines. The VIX has spiked to 16%, so we've seen strong volatility, second straight day where markets have fallen. We've seen 1.5% erased on markets. We are seeing now new levels starting to emerge, 23,600 being one of those key levels to watch out for. The Bank Nifty was down 2%, 1,000 point plus loss on the Bank Nifty, so pressure there as well. Kotak came out with news, CTO resigns. HDFC Bank's numbers were so muted. Both of those were impacted and they've dragged markets, the Bank Nifty as well as the Nifty 50 lower. The mid cap and small cap is where all the pain was, 2.5% plus on both of those, lower on both of those indices, and that's where a lot of the pressure has also started to build in. All the sectoral indices in the red, IT mildly in the red, but outside of that 1% plus across the board, as you can see on your screen. So pressure across the board. Broader markets also feeling the pain, and the BSE 500, some stocks which did well on the back of news reflecting there on your screen, and some which are doing which were beaten along with the market, and there were a lot of those today.
Thanks for giving us that market wrap, Harsh. Now, let's also take a note of the fund flow picture this evening. Foreign investors continue their selling streak with outflow of 2,575 crore rupees. On the other hand, domestic investors continue to buy for 14 straight days. They purchase shares worth 5,750 crore rupees. Now, one of the major laggards was the PSU Bank Index today, after the index cracks over 4% on back of underwhelming third quarter business updates of banks. Banks reported a moderation in loan growth in their third quarter business update, which fails to cheer investors. Vishwanath is here to give us an overall picture. Vishwanath, take it away from here.
So the day saw some of the larger public sector bank names getting hammered on the stock exchanges, primarily because of weaker than expected quarterly figures that the banks have announced. Now let's take a couple of examples, specifically Union Bank and Bank of Baroda, two of the larger public sector banks in the ecosystem. Now both these banks saw advances growth and deposits growth sort of tempered down during Q3. Especially in the case of Union Bank, for example, the overall advances growth was about 6%, while deposits growth was only about 3.76% year on year. And that points to a lower business growth as far as these banks are concerned. Similarly, as far, in case of Bank of Baroda, the deposit and loan growth were pretty much comparable. Advances growth about 11.65%, while deposit growth at about 11.82%. This is understandable. Now, what is happening over the last year or so is that banks are trying to manage the deposit growth and bring it closer to advances growth. So the best way to probably get there is to slow down the advances growth, which had been growing at about 15 to 16% year on year till a little while back. Now that they're bringing down that advances growth, the expectation is that the loan to deposit ratio will come into control and the banks will be able to lend more in the future. However, there is a question of demand as well. Currently, the way banks are reporting their numbers, it looks like demand might be at a certain turning point as far as banks are concerned. We need to see what the final numbers look like when these banks announce their quarterly results in the next couple of weeks, in the next few weeks. Actually, we'll find out what is the kind of commentary that they're giving and the expectation of loan growth for the entire year.
Right, Vishi, thank you for giving us that overall picture on the banking space. Now, ITC stock end over 2% lower on the back of demerger of its hotels arm. The special pre-open session for ITC demerger saw the shares correcting by 26 rupees on NSE and BSE. Now, the demerged value of ITC hotels will continue to remain dominant on nearly 50 indices of the NSE and BSE. The question, however, remains of the date of ITC hotels listing. We have my colleague Sajit Manghar joining us with more details.
ITC demerger special trading session happened in the morning, and as a result of that, nearly 26 rupees per share has been removed from the ITC's price compared to the Friday closing, and 27 rupees on the BSE for that. Now ITC is trading on ex demerger basis, ex hotels basis, and the current stock price correction that you see is primarily based on the market trading that's happening there. ITC hotels will continue as stock, dominant stock within the Sensex and the Nifty and other indices where ITC is there as part of the constituent, and it will start trading once the shares are credited to the demat account of all the shareholders. And once the trading begins, there will be a process through which it will exit the key indices, which is the Nifty, Sensex and the other indices which are there. On the day of listing, the ITC will be allowed a circuit breaker circuit, which is upper or lower for 20% for ITC, and there will be a pre-open session which will happen for ITC hotels on that day. As a result of which, the stock will remain in the index till the time it hits the circuit, and once the stock moves out of the circuit, it will gradually be exiting all the indices which is there. As per regulation, 60 days is the time by when the company ITC will have to list ITC hotels on the stock exchanges.
Right, Sajid, thank you for giving us that update. Now, the rupee depreciated to fresh lows and closed at 85.82 against the dollar on Monday. The rupee is expected to be in the range of 85.70 to 85.90 as per market analysts. Foreign exchange reserves held by the RBI fell to an equivalent of $640 billion in the last week of 2024 amidst its active intervention to limit volatility in the rupee. The depreciation in the rupee comes amidst a strengthening dollar, which is now showing some signs of stability. The dollar index remained at the 108.6 mark as markets await key data, including the US job openings, Fed's December meeting minutes, and the non-farm payrolls report. Let's also take a look at some global market action. Wall Street opened higher as chip makers and technology stocks jumped to start another shortened trading week, while European markets were also higher, driven by technology and automotive stocks, as investors assessed a media report suggesting US President-elect Donald Trump's tariff plan may not be as extreme as feared. Now, pre-budget exercises kick in full swing as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman holds a consultation meet with trade unions, energy, infra and urban development sectors. Rishabh is joining us with more details. Now, Rishabh, what was on the wish list of trade unions?
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today wrapped all the pre-budget consultations ahead of the budget that is set to be presented on February 1st. Two important meetings marked today. The first one with trade unions such as Bharat Mazdoor Sangh as well as the Confederation of All India Trade Unions. All of them presented their demands, some of which were to implement the old pension scheme and not the new or the unified pension scheme. Apart from that, they also demanded the imposition of an additional 2% tax on the superage to guarantee social security for all informal workers. Apart from that, there were demands to formalize the employment of gig workers as well as those who work in Asha and midday meals as well as Anganwadi workers. So all of them to be formalized, to be given social security as well as to abide by a minimum code wage for all these sections of informal workers. The second meeting of the day was with infrastructure, energy as well as urban development representatives. On that, the discussion was marked by what more can be done in terms of slum redevelopment, how to make India slum free, as well as what other things that were discussed included footpaths, last mile mobility, how to add more incentives to make last mile mobility greener than we are seeing currently. There was also discussion on the capital gains tax that was implemented in the last budget, the 12.5% tax on property sales that was also discussed as part of the real estate part of the discussion. There was also a discussion on whether housing could be given infrastructure status so as to make more and more EWS houses and more focus on rental ownership rather than actually owning a house.
Right, Rishabh. Speaking of real estate, Niranjan Hiranandani, the managing director of the Hiranandani Group, thanked the government for the PMAY scheme, and he said that this is the first time that affordable housing growth is in the negative territory. Listen into the focus areas of the discussion that happened in the pre-budget meeting with the FM.
I think the focus
on the PMAY scheme for the purposes of incentivizing affordable housing was a major thing. The second thought is rental housing. Up till now today, we are only talking about ownership housing, but a focus needs also to be done on rental housing. Everybody does not have ownership house. Even the richest country in the world, the United States, 50% of the people live in rental housing. So we need to look at it. At the last budget, the finance minister had given an incentive for the purposes of industrial workers' rental housing. So our idea is that we need to expand it to other people. If you journalists get transferred from one city to the other, you are going to stay in rental housing. You can't buy a house in every city that you get transferred to.
Meta moves NCLAT to challenge the 213 crore rupee CCI penalty over WhatsApp's 2021 privacy policy issue. An urgent meeting is sought on January 16th. Varun is joining us to give us the full picture of the story.
So yeah, a little background for our viewers. So in November last year, the CCI had imposed a penalty of rupees 213 crores on Meta, which is the parent company of WhatsApp. Now CCI had imposed this penalty because it found Meta guilty of abusing its dominant position and in the implementation of WhatsApp's 2021 privacy policy. And through its investigation, CCI had found that the 2021 policy was on a take it or leave it basis and that constituted an abuse of dominant position. Now, as per this update, the 2021 update, the user data was collected and shared with other Meta Group companies, which created an entry barrier for its rivals. Now, senior counsels Kapil Sibal and Mukul Rohatgi appeared for Meta today and informed the NCLAT that the CCI order has huge implications, and since it would have industry-wide ramifications, the case must be heard on 16 January, that is 10 days from now, and the NCLAT principal bench agreed to their request and the case has now been posted for hearing on 16th of January.
Right, Varun, thank you for getting us those details. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for several key railway projects aimed at improving regional connectivity in Telangana, Odisha and Jammu and Kashmir. This event marked a significant step towards enhancing the country's railway infrastructure. These initiatives are set to fulfill long-awaited aspirations of local communities, improve transportation links, and stimulate socio-economic development in the region. In a bid to enable more industry participation, the Steel Ministry has launched Round 2 of the PLI scheme, called PLI Scheme 1.1 for specialty steel. Listen in to what the Union Minister of Heavy Industries had to say.
No, it will be beneficial for the steel industry stakeholders, because in this PLI scheme 1.0, more than 6,000 crore benefits from the government actually we announced. In that, out of that 2,000 crores we already actually utilization by the stakeholders. Another 4,000 crore rupees even still it is in the ministry. For that, actually, we wanted to encourage for the stakeholders to participate by applied from today's website.
3 human metapneumovirus or HMPV cases have been reported in India so far. A 2-month-old baby has been infected with the HMPV virus in Ahmedabad. This marks the first case in Gujarat. 2 more infants have been infected in a hospital in Bangalore. The Union Health Minister earlier said that India is prepared to manage respiratory illnesses with surveillance mechanisms. In fact, in the wake of these cases, Delhi Health Minister has directed Health Department to make arrangements. My colleague Shreya Ghosh is joining us to give us more details.
While the global spotlight is on the human metapneumovirus, the Indian Council of Medical Research has officially reported 2 cases in Karnataka through routine surveillance. It is not a new virus. It has been circulating globally as well as in India for the last 20 years. ICMR has said that there is nothing to panic and India is prepared to tackle it if there is an increase in this virus outbreak in India. The health officials in Delhi has issued an advisory asking people people to report respiratory as well as influenza-like illnesses, stock up critical medicines like antihistamines and paracetamols, and also hospitals should have enough oxygen as well as ventilation support. It's important for people to stay informed but not alarmed. Stay hygienic and let the system do its job.
Viewers, Shreya also caught up with the former Director General of ICMR, Nirmal Kumar Ganguly, on how the HMPV virus is different from COVID-19. Let's listen into that conversation.
COVID is much more serious infection, and this infection is only confined to respiratory tract infection. COVID may occur in other organs also. There are neurologic symptoms, there are cardiac symptoms, there are gastrointestinal symptoms. So this one is only confined to respiratory tract infection. And essentially most of these infections are milder. And COVID used to happen in adults, young adults, and larger age, higher age groups. This one occurs mainly in children. If the aged people may have some immunosuppression, like they're either cancer patient or a transplant patient, or undergoing radiotherapy, or undergoing immunosuppression because of the autoimmune diseases, they are vulnerable.
With the HMPV virus headlining most news outlets, ministers and ministries have actually been trying to assure the public of safety and the need to not panic. Health Minister JP Nadda issues a statement today saying that the ministry is closely monitoring the situation and that there is no need to worry.
चीन में जो HMPV वायरस के मामले पर हाल ही में आई रिपोर्ट्स पर स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय ने इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर मेडिकल रिसर्च के साथ और नेशनल सेंटर फॉर डिजीज़ कंट्रोल के साथ और वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ चीन सहित पड़ोसी देशों में स्थिति पर कड़ी निगरानी रखे हुए हैं। WHO ने भी स्थिति का संज्ञान लिया है और जल्द ही वो भी अपनी रिपोर्ट साझा करेंगे हमसे। ICMR इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर मेडिकल रिसर्च और इंटीग्रेटेड डिजीज सर्विलेंस प्रोग्राम IDSP के साथ उपलब्ध सांस संबंधित वायरस के देशव्यापी डेटा को भी समीक्षा की जा रही है।
Shifting focus a bit, the Mumbai crime branch has filed a charge sheet in the MCOCA court today in the Baba Siddiqui murder case. The 4,590-page charge sheet that has been filed contains statements of 210 people. NDTV's Radhika is joining us with more details on this.
Mumbai police today filed charge sheet as far as the Baba Siddiqui murder case is concerned before the Makoka court. This is an over 4,500-page charge sheet. It names 26 arrested accused as well as 3 absconding accused. Now, these arrested accused were in fact taken into custody over a period of 2 months. Remember, it's been 3 months since the murder took place, close to 90 days, which is why the charge sheet has been filed now. And all of these people who've been arrested so far in connection to the case were either directly or indirectly linked to Lawrence Bishnoi. They were either providing logistical support. Of course, shooters were also arrested. Besides that, those who were part of the conspiracy as well. But the key conspirators, which include Zishan Akhtar as well as Shubhan Lonkar, are yet to be arrested. They are absconding accused, and along with these two is Anmol Bishnoi, who is the brother of Lawrence Bishnoi, who has also been named as an absconding accused. So there are 26 arrested accused who have been named and 3 absconding accused who've also been named as part of the charge sheet. Now, charge sheet also sort of establishes link with Lawrence Bishnoi as far as this entire murder case is concerned, the high-profile murder of Baba Siddiqui. It speaks about motive behind the murder. One, that it is as a result of Baba Siddiqui's close association, friendship with Salman Khan that he was targeted. Remember, Salman Khan was being targeted by Lawrence Bishnoi over a period of several years. We know about the firing incident that took place outside his residence as well, after which many arrests took place. And then to seek revenge over Anuj Thapan's suicide. Remember, Anuj Thapan was an accused as far as the firing outside Salman Khan's residence is concerned.
Now, moving on to an international story, NDTV sources reveal that Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will resign by the end of this week. It remains unclear whether Trudeau will leave his position immediately or stay in power until a new leader is selected. The sources also mention the Liberal Party leader is reportedly growing distance from his supporters and party members. The 82nd Golden Globe Awards marked the official start of the 2025 Hollywood season. Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light received 2 nominations but did not win, while Shogun took home several major awards. NDTV's Abita Dhar joins us to wrap the key moments from the event.
We are very proud of her. Win, no win, doesn't matter. She was nominated and she did create history. And like we said, All We Imagine as Light, the whole world is talking about that film. Barack Obama listed it as the must-watch, one of the must-watch films of 2024. It has been winning awards all over the world in different international film festivals. In India, it was released and, you know, everybody is really appreciating the film. And Payal Kapadia is, of course, making us proud. Namesake, we say that she's wearing Payal, the designer, a black jumpsuit, very elegant on the Golden Globes red carpet. But let me get you the highlights of what happened at the Golden Globes today, the big wins. So we have Shogun, who won 4 Globes. It won the Best Male Actor, Best Female Actor in a Drama TV Series, Best Performance by a Male Actor, Supporting Role, and the Best TV Drama. And also Emilia Perez has won 4 Globes once again. So both of them have competed well and both of them have got 4 Globes. Emilia Perez has got Best Supporting Actress, Best Non-English Language Film, Best Original Song, Best Musical or Comedy Film. So these are the 2 big wins of 2025 Golden Globes.
Thanks, Abida. Well, viewers, that's all the time we had on this edition of Profit 360. But do stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more news and updates.
This is on my face.
How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? You know, we should probably charge the same.
Was the idea to change things down?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
We did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Think you know what success looks like? Think again. Meet the disruptors, those who dare, dream and defy.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target.
It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings. Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
This is on my face.
How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
Was the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
We did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you...
Hello and welcome to this Monday edition of the World Report with me, Arjun Samar Mahindran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expected to announce his resignation as the leader of the Liberal Party this week. The Globe and Mail is reporting Trudeau has been under pressure from elected lawmakers in his party to quit for months. And it increased further when Chrystia Freeland, his finance minister and deputy prime minister, stepped down on the 16th of December,